last month or so, speculated about his future. It all came to the head in the space of 12 hours. He was gone, and Jose Mourinho is the new Tottenham manager and sat in front of the media for an hour today saying how he's a changed man, a humble man, and he's learnt a lot over the last 9 months. Pochettino, hard done by?
Very, very. I think the behaviour of the chairman, Levy, was disgraceful.
Why?
Well, I think the general attitude now is that he's not getting the best from the players, Pochettino, and he hasn't won anything, right? Well, I think what he's won at Spurs is Levy's reputation, because without his efforts over the last 4.5 years, that stadium would not be built, right? Because he kept them in the Champions League. He's done a fantastic job for that club. And what Levy's saying now, well, we haven't won anything. Of course they haven't won anything. They didn't back him. They spent less money than anybody else. Manchester United, Liverpool, Arsenal, they spent hardly any money because they were building this new stadium. He kept them up there. He kept them in the Champions League for the last 4 years, which is worth fortunes. Now, he did that. He didn't win anything, right? He didn't win his trophy, but he won an awful lot of blooming stuff for the club. And now he's saying, well, we need to win something now. And that's why he's getting Mourinho in, because Mourinho has a great record of winning things. Even at Manchester United, he won 2 trophies. So I think the way Levy is looking at it, from his own point of view, you get Jose in, he wins a couple of trophies. I'll be proven right in getting rid of Pochettino. I think his behaviour towards Pochettino has been dreadful, really disgraceful.
But even if Mauricio Pochettino has massively overachieved considering their spending power compared to other teams, where Tottenham are right now, 14 points in 12 games this season, only 3 wins, 25 points from the last 24 games this year,
Nathan, why?
11 points off the top 4.
Yeah, well, why? Why you have to sell? Why?
But he's the manager. Does he not have to take ultimate responsibility?
Yeah, he is the manager, but he hasn't been backed as the manager. What they've done at Spurs, and we've spoken about this before he was sacked, he's got 4 or 5 players who are out of contract for a start, right? Now, and 1 or 2 other situations where the players are not together, right? That's not his fault. That's Levy's dealing with the players, not getting them tied up, not getting new players in. That's what Pochettino said at the start of the season. I don't want to be regarded as the manager anymore. I want to be the coach, because he was definitely looking for the end of the season. I want to get players in. I want to improve. I want to go from here. And he was told, I think, you can't do that, because there were 2 other guys with Levy that were in charge of the comings and goings. He didn't get any players in that he wanted. And he said, well, there's no point to me. I think he was up to his neck with it, having done what he did. That was what Pochettino done over the last few years has been a miracle. One of the best jobs in football ever, to do what he did and to keep that club going and get on with the players. In the meantime, Levy is messing around. Alderweireld is out of contract. Vertonghen's out of contract. Eriksen is out of contract. How do you think he feels coming in at the start of the season? And we spoke about this before. Players like that come into a dressing room, Nathan. You have to be pulling together. You can't be pulling together if players know they're leaving at the next season. I was lucky if I played in a good team, and it was hard enough to win trophies, everybody pulling together. Levy left Pochettino in that position, that he had to deal with players who knew they were going, didn't want to stay, team spirit gone. Of course it affects them, but who was responsible for that? Levy didn't do his business. Now he's blaming Pochettino, because, as you say, they're this down the league, they're that down the league, and of course they are, because it's not what Pochettino is not going to last forever. He's performed a miracle for the last 4 years. You can't keep performing miracles, and the boss is not getting players in for you. Actually, he's not even keeping the players that you want. It's Pochettino's relationship with the players has kept them going. He's been brilliant with the players. They love him. I think they really love Pochettino.
Because
you can't blame it on Pochettino, Nathan. It's how when you're doing the job, you're doing your job. You need the tools to do the job. If the tools are taken away from you, Levy took them away from Pochettino, how does he expect him to do the job? And what he's saying now, and everybody's saying, and him's encouraged it, he's done really well, but he hasn't won his trophy. Hasn't won his trophy. He's kept them in the top 4 for the last 4 years. He's performed miracles for them.
Would that sudden decline in form, though, over the past year, and you mentioned the relationship with the players, there's been a lot of leaks and people are spinning different things, that players had sort of become fed up with his style, his distance from the players, double training sessions, that it had all just come to a head, and that maybe the relationship between Pochettino and the players had ran its course.
I don't believe that, Nathan. That's what the papers are following Levy's line in this. I've seen a couple of things where it's totally biased towards him. But when you get the players in this season, what he wanted, actually, what you see today, even the remarks of the players, there's nothing but affection and respect. I don't think he's fallen out with the players at all, right? I think the players are fed up with it, because the players are in the dressing room, and you get 4 or 5 players in the dressing room who are not committed to the club, really. They know they're going, their contract is running out. You don't get a good atmosphere in the club. It spoils it, right? That's team spirit. You don't get it. Alderweireld, how do you think he's thinking coming in the morning? Do you think he's committed to Spurs? Vertonghen, Eriksson.
Is that not just another test for a manager, though?
That's some test, Nathan.
Clearly it's a big test, but that's something that he needs to overcome.
Yeah, but how can he overcome it? How can he get into the heads of Alderweireld or anybody else and say, now listen, lads, and these lads are thinking about their future, right? Eriksson's thinking about his future. They love Pochettino, but they haven't come to terms with the chairman. Right? It's not Pochettino's job to come to terms with them, to keep them and keep them happy at the club. That's the chairman's job. He hasn't done it. Now it's fallen back on Pochettino, right? I think they really like him. I mean, you see the remarks today from Harry's, all these guys, I think they love Pochettino, but what they'll say, I love you, but I can't go on like this with the chairman. I'm not getting what I think I deserve, and that's the way it works. That's his job. It's not Pochettino's job to come to terms with the players, Nathan. Right? It's the boss's job, Levy's job, to come to terms with the players. So the players come into work every day happy, committed to the club, committed to Pochettino. Then he does his job from there. If that's not right, then he can do his job as much as he possibly can, which he does. These guys are not feeling that way, right? There's 5, 6 of them in the dressing room, right, that we know of, that nothing to do with Pochettino. They'd say to Pot, look, I love you, but I can't come to terms with it.
How big a risk then is, if everything you're saying is correct, is appointing Jose Mourinho, who, as we've seen, generally tends to combust after 18 months, certainly has issues with a lot of different personalities within the dressing room, and you're looking at a Spurs dressing room, young, ambitious players who probably aren't being paid as much as they could be paid at other clubs, and may have put up that because of their affection for Pochettino and because of their enjoyment of the success and the style of football.
They've done that for a while. They've done that for a while, Nathan, I think, those players. But there's 3 or 4 of them out of contract. They won't sign a new contract because they haven't been offered the right terms, right? So they're leaving at the end of the season. Now, Pochettino, they could say to Pochettino, I love you, but this is the way I have to do it. He's not responsible for that. Levy is responsible for that. He hasn't come, he's letting their contract run out. He's the man supposed to be doing that business. So Pochettino can't do that. But Pochettino will be the first to say to the players, look, I understand where you're at. This is the game today, you know. I understand where you're at, but that's no good to him to do the job. And that's why you say, well, the spirit can't be right in the dressing room. Obviously, and this is where they are on the table. It's bound to happen, Nathan. What's team spirit if it's not everybody pulling together? Right? That's the way it works. And he hasn't been backed up. I think that's what I say. I think his behaviour toward Pochettino, man, it's been disgraceful. Now he's got Mourinho in. Is he going to give Mourinho these powers? You know? Like, you go back on Mourinho's record, and one of the great things I admired about Mourinho, when he went into a club, he was in charge of the buying and selling, right? Is Levy suddenly going to say, whatever you want, Jose? He might, to prove himself right, and Pochettino wrong. Because Pochettino is taking the blame now for, they're having a bad season, they're doing this, they're doing that. He's not. He's maybe old-fashioned. He might be this, maybe that. Don't forget, it's only a few weeks we spoke about it. Pochettino said at the start of the season, I don't want to be named as the manager, right? I am the coach. Why is he saying that? Because he's not getting what he wants, and he knows the situation with the players. In other words, actually, it's happened. What he's saying at the time, if we're going wrong, I'm going to have to take the blame for this, right? So I don't want to be the manager. I want everybody to know I'm not in charge of this situation. And it's exactly proven, he's proven to be right. He wasn't in charge of the situation, and things have gone wrong. But what Levy is saying now, well, it was his fault. He never won it. The general thing with the papers is he's done really well, but he's never won a trophy. Not won a trophy. He's kept that club on its feet. What is he? No, sorry, to go back on Mourinho coming in. What's Mourinho? Mourinho, I've always admired Mourinho. Going into clubs, he's always demanded to have what he wants, right? Is he going to get that with Levy? Didn't give it to Pochettino. And the ironic situation is that, you know, Mourinho was kicked out of Manchester United. And what I would advocate, and a lot of people, if I were Manchester United, I'd go for Pochettino now.
Well, that is the irony, that it doesn't feel as though Mauricio Pochettino's reputation has been damaged by what's happened in Tottenham.
But what I'm saying is Levy has gone out of his way, in my opinion, to damage his reputation. Definitely. Definitely. He's saying, and he's got it out in the papers, with his pals in the papers, he's done brilliant, but he hasn't won a trophy. Right? He's kept him in fourth position for a few years. He hasn't spent any money in relation to Liverpool, Manchester United, and Arsenal, all these clubs. Now, he's done a great job. But now it's, things are not right there, he has to go.
Yeah.
Dreadful. Dreadful.
On Jose Mourinho then, it's 11 months since he left Manchester United, and it feels as though he's left a trail of destruction at United and Chelsea, and it didn't end well at either club.
No.
He's come into Spurs, said today that he has a new philosophy where it's not about myself. Do you believe him?
Well, I don't believe him. Of course it is. He's playing the game. But you see, if you go back at what you said about his career, he did finish on bad terms, but he did really well with them as well. Not so much Manchester. He did win 2 trophies with Manchester United, but when he was at Chelsea in the 2 spells at Chelsea, you go back to why he left, Nathan. Because the owner was bringing in players that he didn't want. That's what I loved about Mourinho. He stood up to be independent, to run the club and that. Now, is he going to be allowed to do it now? I mean, he can say all he wants. I think it's a delicate situation because I think the players were really, really fond of Pochettino. I don't think they were blaming him. I don't think the spirit was bad in any way whatsoever. I think that whatever they had against the club was against Levy. Levy's still there. But Pochettino was gone. I think they had great affection for him. They played for him all the time. What's Mourinho going to do? Are they going to take to Mourinho? Don't know. Is Mourinho going to get the things that Pochettino... He might get that, but I think it's a delicate one for them.
What's success for Mourinho at Spurs? What's success for Mourinho at Spurs? Because it seemed easy at all his previous clubs. Winning the title was success. And he'd come in, he'd make the impact, and generally he would win the league. But at Tottenham, who've gone well over 50 years without winning a league, what in 3 years' time would you say is successful?
First of all, I think Levy is placing it in a way, if we win a trophy. He's not saying winning the league, champion. Like if they won the league, in other words, they've won a trophy. Pochettino didn't win a trophy, any trophy. Right, so that's what they're going in. I don't know what Mourinho's like. We don't know what Mourinho. See, when he went into Chelsea, he did a great job, right? But what the difference with Pochettino? I'm just going off a bit now. He made Harry Kane a better player. He brought Dele Alli in. He's brought a lot of young players in that.
Mourinho did that first time round at Chelsea.
Well, did he? Young players like all these.
The likes of Damien Duff, the likes of Arjen Robben.
Well, Robbins wasn't a young player. Damien had a bit of experience himself. Lampard was a good player. John Terry.
Did he not bring them all to a whole new level?
Of course he did. But they weren't actually young players like Spurs, like Pochettino. He didn't bring those through, Nathan. He inherited them. You know what I mean? He inherited them, and he hasn't been noted even at Manchester United for bringing young players through because he wants to win straight away, which is fair enough, and that's what he did. But if you look at him at Chelsea, don't forget he had Salah there, he had De Bruyne there, right? Who weren't doing their stuff, but he couldn't live with them because he had to be winning straight away, which we can understand. Is he going to do the same at Spurs, or is he going to say, look, I need it now. I want the transfer now. Don't forget, he spent a lot of money at Manchester United as well. He's not noted for bringing young players through. But I think it could get to the stage where Levy will give them the resources that he didn't give Pochettino, because he'll want to prove himself right.
Right.
I keep going back to that.
Yeah.
And Mourinho, don't forget, I have a great respect for him. Mourinho's been a great manager, and he's been a great manager because he did demand the things. And when it went wrong at Chelsea, for example, it was the owner that was interfering with what he wanted. On the 2 occasions he was there, and he said, that's it, I'm out now.
So something's got to give between Levy and Mourinho. One of them will have to change.
There's 2 things. Is he going to back him on him getting the players that Mourinho wants, or is he did see? But Pochettino wasn't getting he wasn't getting any players in anyway. But the ones that he was getting in had to go to the committee. He didn't have a free run at it. Now is Mourinho going to swallow he's swallowed all this in when he's never done it before, or is Levy going to go his way? You know, I think first of all the crowd won't be on Mourinho's side. They don't like him. Is he going to get the players? We'll have to wait and see if he does that. Like Mourinho's record has been, even at Manchester United, if he gets a bad start and things are not going well, Nathan, he turns on the players. You know, we'll have to wait and see what happens on that.
Yeah.
And these are from players that I think that Pochettino had total respect from and affection.
It's going to be fascinating to see how it plays out over the next 18 months.
Yeah, it is going to be fascinating. I think there'll be games within games.
It'll give us plenty to talk about, I suspect, every Thursday night. Yeah. We do need to take a very quick break. John's live with us in the studio, 53106. We're going to talk about the Republic of Ireland next.
Football on Off the Ball.
With Paddy Power, the greatest football partnership since Jeff and Heskey.
How many men, women and children are there? How long did they spend in the system? Why are people protesting?
To get an influx all of a sudden of the amount of people will cause great depredation to the area.
I'm a stranger in this country. If it was the other way around and I see people, strange people coming to my country, I don't know how I would feel about it.
I'm Barry White, and all next week on News Talk, we're looking at the reality of direct provision. The system, the places, and the people. Follow us on air, on social, and on newstalk.com.
At Lexus, we have always anticipated the future, relentlessly pushing the boundaries of beautiful design and innovative technology, so you're ready for what's ahead. Introducing the new Lexus ES. Our executive saloon combines powerful, self-charging hybrid technology with an exceptional driving experience and the luxury that you expect from a Lexus. Test drive the new ES at your Lexus retailer and choose from a range of flexible payment options. Lexus. Experience amazing.
Logically, you know Cube kitchens are expertly designed and fitted. Practically, you know they've got all the clever storage ideas you could wish for. Reassuringly, you know Cube have over 50 years experience, but that's not why you want one. Cube kitchens just look so overwhelmingly, irresistibly amazing. See our full kitchen wardrobe and furniture range, including Caligaris in Dublin and Cork, or online at cubekitchens.ie, or call to arrange a free consultation. Be kitchen proud with Cube.
This Sunday, it's Sheffield United v Man United in a tough test for both teams. And with Now TV, you can watch all the action live for a one-off payment of just €10. Hold on, they're checking with VAR.
That's confirmed, it's €10.
You've got to love the modern game. So, to only pay for the games that matter to you, grab a Now TV Sky Sports Day Pass. Search Now TV Sports. 18 plus, content streamed via internet, full terms apply.
What about your man playing up front? He's on fire at the minute. Game will be over by half time.
Thanks, Mr. Taxi Man. But opinions nicked from Sports Radio won't help us hit the jackpot. The Hunch just picks the first 4 scorers in 4 selected games with Betway's 4 to score. Conversation over.
Heed your hunch with Betway's 4 to score for a weekly rollover jackpot. Selections must be submitted before the opening time of each scheduled round. Where there is more than one winner, main prize will be divided between winners. Full terms apply. 18 plus. Dunlewy.net.
Why wait for Black Friday when our amazing Black Tag sale is now on at Curry's PC World? Get your kitchen ready for Christmas with an LG American-style fridge freezer with water and ice dispenser from $9.99. Or pick up a DeLonghi bean-to-cup coffee machine with selected models better than half price from $3.99. Get our lowest ever price on the 32-inch Smart JVC TV, now only $179. And we've got unbelievable offers across the store with laptops and tablets. Get in store or online at currys.ie. T's and C's apply.
At Renault, we're on a mission to drive down carbon emissions. So we created Renault Carbon Rewards, rewarding you for choosing a cleaner car with savings of €3,500 guaranteed on the all-new Renault Clio. For more rewards across our cleaner Renault range, visit Renault.ie or drop into your local Renault dealer today. Finance is made under a hire purchase agreement. Terms and conditions apply. Deposit required subject to lending criteria. See Renault.ie.
At Bargaintown and First for Floors, we're still taking orders for all carpets, wood floor and vinyl for fitting before Christmas. That's Bargaintown, first in Dublin for carpets, wood floor and vinyl.
Football on Off the Ball.
With Paddy Power, the greatest football partnership since Shearer and Owen.
All right, welcome back. John Giles is in studio. We better talk about the Republic of Ireland because we haven't qualified for Euro 2020 yet. After that 1-1 draw against Denmark on Monday night. General sense is that was the best performance of the campaign?
I think so, Nathan. Yeah, I thought we deserved to win the match. And again, it goes back, I think it's like everything goes back to psychology. You see, when Denmark come, they know a draw is good enough for them. We have to go for it, you know? And that sets the tone then in the players' mind. In other words, forget about drawing the game.
We got to go win.
We got to go for it.
So why not have that
all the
sort of
time
attitude?
Yeah,
all the time,
yeah.
And we wouldn't have found ourselves in that position.
Many times we've found over the years with Martin O'Leary and that, you know, going, oh, draw would be a great result here. I know people used to take the mickey out of me by saying, take the game on its merits. Because we went to Georgia, was it the year before last? And we scored after, I think, 5 minutes. Then we sat back.
Over
they went
Belgrade,
to 2.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Serbia,
and when we had to go for it, then we equalised. Of course, then you can switch it the other way. Martin said, see, it shows the character in the team. We fought back. In my opinion, shouldn't have to be fighting back. Could have done it. Like Georgia away this year, even this year, we were terrible in Georgia. That's what lost the qualification, automatic qualification. And well, I thought last week was good. We got on the ball, we tried, because we knew it draws no good to us.
So overall then, and obviously the last 3-4 months, maybe even the last year of Martin O'Neill's time in charge, got pretty low and performances weren't there and there were some bad beatings along the way. But when you look at Ireland for the last year and say Martin O'Neill before Euro 2016, have Ireland got any better?
I think there was an improvement with Mick since Mick took over. There's no doubt about that. You know, it was just that Georgia match in particular where, I mean, Georgia haven't even qualified, have they? They haven't got near it. You know, and it was a match, like, again, I know it's all if, but you win. That was a match we were capable of winning, and we played badly in that, because I did get the feeling there, draw be okay here, you know. And I think Georgia weren't good. But the other night, I thought it was good. I thought we deserved to win it. Again, we didn't have many chances, but neither did they. And again, it proves, you know, we keep talking about Denmark, and they've only lost one match in the last 20. Are they that good? You know, like, are we that bad? You know, well,
that's 5 of the 6 games we played against them that we've drawn.
You know, like, they're not. I don't think there's any world beaters out there. But anyway, I think to get back to the match the other night, I was pleased about it. I thought, we lost a bad goal. Doherty was very, very good. But he was at fault of that particular goal, Nathan.
Was it Doherty or was it Duffy?
I was definitely Doherty. Yeah, it was definitely Doherty. I mean, the ball came over Duffy's head, but the lad ran past Doherty. Now, I think Doherty, I don't know, I'm only trying to look into his head. I think he thought everybody was playing offside. But the run was very good. But in that situation as a defender, you have to do what you can see. You can't say, I thought that. In other words, if he goes with the runner, then I don't think they score. Then he could say, we should have come out in offside, but he didn't. But he was very, very good. He's a very, very good player.
We didn't see a lot of Matt Doherty during this campaign. He didn't play in Denmark. He didn't play in the 2 games against Switzerland. And Mick McCarthy, it seemed, wrote him off as a right-sided midfield option straight after the Gibraltar game. Did he underuse Doherty over the 8 games?
Well, I think he's a very, very good player. But I think Stevens is a very good player as well. I mean, I said early on, well, he could play Doherty at left back, but it would be very hard on Stevens. I think I think the problem that Mick had was that he didn't have a run into the competitive matches, Nathan. You know, I think when Martin took over, he had about 8 or 9 matches. Now you can look at Doherty in these positions, but it's very, very difficult to put him in a match when you haven't seen him. You don't know what he can do.
Can you not trust what you've seen week in, week out in the Premier League when he's exceptional for Wolves?
But that's playing it right back. It's a big difference playing right back and playing in the middle of the field. I mean, would you leave our man out?
Seamus Coleman.
You couldn't leave him out instead of Doherty. I think Seamus Coleman's a better player. Now, I like Doherty. I think he's a terrific player, but I think Seamus Coleman, you couldn't leave him out. So what we're talking about now, we're looking for a position for Doherty. Stevens at left back, you couldn't fault him, you know.
Do you think with that performance, Mick now has a decision to make for March about that right back spot with Seamus Coleman?
Well, it's the same decision that he has to make from the start. You know what I mean? Now, I'd say, if it was my opinion, I think Seamus Coleman is a better fullback than Doherty. And I think it's a shame that Doherty is such a good player in that particular squad that we can't find a place for him. Maybe if we got a couple of friendly matches and you could play him in midfield. But Nathan, you can't see all the matches that Mick has played have been competitive matches. We didn't have a build-up to it. You know what I mean? So he has to. I'd say Mick would love to have a game where he could put Doherty in the middle of the field as a sweeping whatever you want in the middle of the field. The only chance he had was in Gibraltar, and that was a bad night for anybody. Nobody could play, and Doherty didn't play well. Nobody really played well. So now you come to the next competitive match. Now you're on a wing and a prayer. You don't know, and it's very difficult in management to do something that you don't know what's going to happen. And I think that's what happened with Doherty.
Did you think that performance, and maybe there was obviously a lot more energy there, but in terms of trying to create chances, trying to control possession of the ball a bit more, that was something that Ireland had clearly worked on the training ground, that it was because of the tactics, because of the setup, or was it just actually that sort of desperation to get the victory?
Well, it's not so much desperation as freedom to do what needs to be done. You see, everything is psychological. In life, it's psychological. Football is like that. When we go into that match, and we know a draw is no good to us, that frees everybody up to go for it, as we say. You know, that's what happened the other night, in my opinion. Where what the managers try to do, or should be trying to do all the time, is free the players for every match like that.
So does that not suggest
Home
that
and away.
Mick McCarthy, I don't want to say it's failed because there's still a way to go, but he didn't get the players playing like that. He didn't get into their heads that they were treating every game like that.
No, well, I don't know what happened in the dressing room, but all I can say is that how we played the other night was better than we played in any of the other matches. And if you look back in it, it's like when we played Germany and beat them. Do you remember? We had to win that night. There's a difference between. I'm not blaming Mick, because Mick can only do the job, and Mick took over a very difficult job in that he didn't see any of these players in friendly matches. He was straight into competitive matches, so he didn't have any time to try players out or do so. He had to get into it straight away. But it's only just my opinion in football that. And I know people used to laugh at me and they say, you take the game on its merits, because you can talk about a match before you go in all day, but you don't know what's going to happen, Nathan. In other words, I always felt, if it's there for the taking, take it. If we have to defend for 90 minutes, we'll defend for 90 minutes.
But as long as I can remember watching Irish football, it's been what you're talking about, which is, unless we desperately need the victory, we don't get that performance. And a lot of people now are looking forward to the next era, which is potentially coming 7-8 months down the line through Stephen Kenny. Do you think actually a manager can come in and transform our entire attitude to these games?
Well,
I
think if any manager come in and transform everything, Nathan. But to be fair to Mick, Mick didn't have the start that Martin have with the 7 or 8 friendly matches where you can see, oh, he's in, we can do that. Mick was going all the time on trial, big game. So I think Mick has done a very, very good job. I'm only talking about last week's match, and the psychology in matches all the time is to be able to release. It's not an easy situation. It's a very difficult one, because players are always a bit wary. You know, we can't do that. We can't do that. It's very difficult to free them up, and its circumstances frees them up, because the other night the draw was no good for us. We go for it. And I thought we played well and deserved to win. And then, if you look at the psychology of the Danes, they didn't go for it.
They're fearful.
They think, well, draws enough for us for today. So I think they didn't play as well as they could play, because they got the draw, especially when they got a goal. But anyway, that's the way it is. But we're still in with a chance. Yeah. But I think there's been an improvement since Mick took over. Definitely.
We got to wrap it up. We are short on time. Did you see this last week?
No.
Programme for the New Zealand friendly. John Giles. I'll put it up to camera. What year is that? Mid-70s?
I look as if I was in my mid-70s there.
You look a bit battered and bruised there. It's nice.
It wasn't a friend of mine that did it anyway, I don't think.
Well, you can keep that now and bring it home with you.
Okay.
John, great stuff as always. We'll talk to you next Thursday.
Join the conversation. Text us on 53106. Texts cost 30 cents.
Take comfort in a Citroën van that works as hard as you.
And is designed so you enjoy the drive.
Take comfort in choice.
There's every size and style you need.
And take comfort in brilliant offers.
With a great range of scrappage incentives when you trade in your old van for a brand new Citroën.
Take comfort and take a test drive at your nearest Citroën dealer or find out more at citroen.ie.
Citroën. Business users only. Terms, conditions and eligibility criteria apply.
The wait is over. The shopping event of the year is here at Harvey Norman.